Good morning, everybody. I'm going to have a look at basic selection statements, how to plan a program with selection. I'm going to show you how to test some code, and then how to code the program with selection. So, quite a few things we are going to discuss. First of all, planning, then testing, just to test the code to see how the statements execute. And then we're going to code the actual program with selection. Okay, for our example, I'm going to take program 36. Program 36 says write a program that reads an integer and determines and displays whether it's odd or even. So now we would like to know odd or even, those two words, and we need to get a number from the user. If you've never done anything like this before, it might seem very, very difficult. So a little bit of a hint is given to you. We can use the remainder operator. An even number is a multiple of 2, so it won't have a remainder, hey? 6 divided by 2 is 3 on the dot. But if I divide the number by 2, and my remainder would be 1, 7 divided by 2 would be 3 with a remainder of 1. Then I've got an odd number. Don't worry, because once you've done something like this, you're going to remember how to determine whether a number is odd or even for the rest of your life. Okay, so first of all, we need to go have a look at the program. And I want to use a function, so I've rewritten the program, and now I've specified that we need to use a function, determine number, and it's got to send back the message odd or even. Word always go and capitalize everything in this world. So that means if this function receives a number, it's got to send back a message. So for 10 it's got to send back even, for 11 it's got to send back odd, for 13 it's got to send back odd as well. Okay, so my steps would be declare the variables. So I'll need to calculate the remainder. When the number is divided by 2. And now I will need to test if the remainder is 0. In that case, I know I will have an even number. Otherwise, if it's not even, the number would be odd. And right at the end, we can maybe specify this is the end of the if. But my indentation would show that as well. Right at the end, we need to return the message. So here I can say assign even to message. Let's just spell that correct. And assign odd to message. Take note. We can keep the end if, but this indentation tells me already what would happen in the true and what would happen in the false part. So I need another variable, remainder. If I calculate the remainder when the number is divided by 2, this remainder will be 0. That remainder would be 1, because it would 11 divided by 2 would be 5, remainder 1. 13 divided by 2, the remainder would also be 1. So that means if I test if the remainder is 0, this will assign even. That will assign odd, and this will assign odd as well. And then the message would be returned. So if I go to the program, I've filled in a few things already. I'm just converting. And the programming steps would be declare the variables, get the number from the user, call the function. And here we again see what functions does. I simply need to call the function, give it the number, and it gives me back the message. So I don't need to worry how the function is going to do its job. I call this function, I give it the number, and the function gives me back the message. For now, you are the programmer that coded the function, so I need to think of the logic of the determine function code, and I need to go and have a look at it. If you now want to just go and test the if statement, see how it works and what it does, we can very easily go to IDE1.com. You're going to change the language that you're using to VB.net. There's quite a few languages that they make provision for. And now over here we can add the statements that we want to. This gives us code for a console application. Okay, so not a graphical user interface. We're not worried about labels and text fields and things like that. We'd like to display just messages, just to test if things are working or not. So I'm not going to code the function. I'm going to do the following. I just want to see how the if statement works. Let's zoom in a little bit. So if I define a variable, and let's say we start with 20. We know 20 is an even number. I need to calculate the remainder. So now I need to go and have a variable, remainder, like that. Remainder is equal to number and my modulus operator now. And I want to divide by 2. And now I need to test. If remainder is equal to 0, then I'm simply just going to display a message. Over here I will need to write console dot write line, the number is even, otherwise console.write line, the number is odd, and my if needs an end. So over here the syntax doesn't help us as much as in the Visual Studio environment, but this is a good way to test some of your code. I like console.writeLine, some message to say end of the program. I can now go and click on the run statement, and here it displays the output for me. So the number is even, would execute, and then end of the program. If I change this number, I need to just go and say I want to edit the code again. If I change the number to 21 and I submit, execute the program again. Then in the output I now get a message, the number is odd. So something like this might be, I don't know, I like something like this just to test some of my code a little bit. Just a little piece of code to see how it works and what it does. Only thing now is I'm gonna display the output not in labels. Console.WriteLine means displayed on the screen. So I've tested this part of the code now. And what did I test? I really tested these statements. Hey, I saw if I could test if the value is odd or even. So now if I go to my actual program, and I've already got the basis of this designed the screen. So user can type in a number and my message would be displayed, and I've got a button. I've already included all the beginning documentation. I've got my function. We're not focusing on functions now, so I've partially coded this program. So now if I go and open up my documentation, my function must receive some data, and it's going to receive a number. What will it return? A message. That means if the function returns a message, I will need to have a string over here. I will need to have the message as string, and end of the function I will need to return message. So those things from the documentation, I need to return a message means three things. Add string for the function, define a variable, return the message. I need to receive a number, so that means I need by val. So a value parameter, because all functions receive data, it's only by value. It's got to be called number, and it's an integer for now. So now if I go have a look, declare the variables. Did I declare all the variables? I've got number, it's the parameter. I've got the no, I don't have remainder. So dim remainder as integer, and I've got message defined. So function step, declare all the variables. I've done that now. Next step, calculate the remainder when the number is divided by 2. So remainder is equal to number divide by, not divide by 2, I need the remainder, so modulus 2 means divide the number by 2, give me the remainder. Next I need to test if the remainder is 0. So if remainder is 0, then press enter and it gives me the end if already. So if the remainder is 0, message would be even, otherwise message would be odd. So test the remainder, assign even or odd to message, and I've done that, return the message right at the end. If I now go to the button event procedure, I've done quite a few things already. Declare the variables, again everything over here, so only number and message. That's the only things the button needs to know. I'm going to get the number from the user, and that I've done over here. We're just going to use integers for this example. Now I need to call the function to determine if the number is odd or even. So that statement must be included, and then display the message. So I put the message in the label. If I now execute this program, just put that on the screen. If I enter 21, I get it's an odd number. If I go and enter 1, it's an odd number. 100 gives me an even number. I need to test the program with all my values. So let's just go and do that. So 10 tested gives me even. It's good. I can say check. It's fine. Test with 11 gives me odd. So this is also check. And then lastly I need to test it with 13. And it gives me an odd. So I can say check. I've tested the program and it gave me the correct data all 3 times. Sometimes my if statement would be in the button event procedure. Sometimes the if statement would be in a function or a procedure. We can code the if statement where it is needed. In this case, I wanted to use a function. So, the statement is in the function. I hope this was of assistance. Thank you.